Welcome back to ClickFunnels Quick Start Blueprint. This is Dan Havey with CF Ninja Hacks, and in the last couple of videos we've been going through all the elements inside of the page editor, and now we are up to the content blocks with just one more section left to go. So we're going to click on our first one here, and we're going to put in an icon element. It always comes in as this little graph looking thing, and we can open this up and we can say, of course, where do we want to align this. We'll leave it in the center. And you can give it a URL, or you can give it a short tag or a short code like we've seen in the buttons and some other elements. So we can open a pop-up with this icon. We can submit the form. We can go to the next page in the funnel, the next step in the funnel. We can close the pop-up if you were to have this icon inside of a pop-up itself. You can use it as a yes and no link for an OTO, an upsell or downsell, and then you can also use it to scroll to one of the sections in the page. And in this case here, they even include in the data title at the end, whereas in the past we had to type that in. So it actually pulls the ones up from the page. Or, of course, we can put in any URL we would like, send them anywhere outside of your funnel or inside of your funnel or to one of your other funnels if you would like. And we can have it open in the same page, which is normal. The same tab, which is normal, or we can have it open up in a new tab if we wanted to. We can change the size of it here because they are really considered to be fonts. These are all coming from Font Awesome, and so they're considered and treated like fonts. So we can change the font size, and of course we can change the font color if we would like. Then we can come into our themes and we can make it look a lot of different ways. This one has kind of a little circle around it and a square. We can have different background colors, different colors of the font itself and the background color. So go ahead and look at those and choose one if you wish. So what I want to see here is, so we have this darkish color in the back, and now what happens if we change the icon color? Yeah, see, it's not going to change it. Once we set that theme, it's not going to let us change the icon color. And then under advanced, you only have one thing you can do, which is to come in and find which one of the hundreds of icons you would like. And in this case here, let's just say we wanted to put in an icon for the hamburger bun. You want to put in the term bar, B-A-R, click right there, and then it will give you the Font Awesome. That's what the FA stands for here. The Font Awesome icon for a bar. And in this case here, let's say we don't want that dark around it, so we go in and we say no styling. So that is really it for the icon element. Let us go to the next one. It is the image feature element. And what this amounts to is you have an image, which you can put on either side. You have a text headline, and then you have a text paragraph below it. And you click on this, and you can operate with these elements or this element just like you would any text elements, bold, underline, etc. Make it right or left or center justified, and then you can even highlight part of it and give it a hyperlink if you so choose. And right now we'll just kill that hyperlink. And the same thing with obviously the paragraph text. So now let's open up the element. Now you can put an image over here. So let's click on that and let's just grab an image. Double click on that image, that will go in there. And we can put in a width. Now, because of how we have this currently set, the max width you can put in here, I think, is 120. But let's just say we're going to have it be 100. And then we could always click this arrow and make it go up, and it should stop at about 120 based on the current size that we have it. We can change what the font family is for all of the text. Change the headline and the text size, and we can change the colors, of course, as well. So we can look at our themes, and these themes only apply to the image itself. So you click on any one of these themes and change how the image looks. And then we can go to advanced, and we can say, okay, do we want the image on the left and the text on the right, or do we want it the other way around? And so you just click here. So it's text image or image text, however you would like it. And right now we have it set at 80% text and 20% image. And we can go down to 70, 60, and even down to 50%. Now in this case here, we had our image set as only 130 pixels. If we take that number out, it will make it as big as it possibly can. Or of course, you again can change the size of it. Let's make it like 250. And so you can play around with the size of the image there based upon how you have your columns laid out, and it would also be determined upon where you have your column settings as well. So let's go back into the image. Let's go to advanced. So on the image right now we have rounded corners. You can make it circular. You could take off the corners, and we have a dark thumbnail set. We could make it no thumbnail. Or no border. We can make it a white border. And then do we want a full shadow, a dark shadow? So let's put a dark shadow on it and just slightly rounded corners. And that is it. So that is it for all the settings inside of the image feature. And next up, we have the navigation element. Now, because we're building funnels, realistically, we should not be using navigation, but everybody always wants them. So here is a way to put in your navigation, and I have it in some of my things as well. So first off, we'll come down to the bottom. We can, of course, change the font size. We can change the color of the font, and then how you put this in is very simple. So here we had our link text says features, so let's just put in demo instead. Here you can click on this. Again, we have all of our short codes, or of course we can put in a URL and send them anywhere on the interwebs we want. And here we can have it open in the same window, or we can have it open up in a new window. And technically it's not a window, it's a tab that it opens it up in. And then we get to number 2 here, and we could put in some text there as well and keep going down. Now you have 5 available here, but when you go to page 2, it says how many of these links do you want showing. And so let's say we want 5 links showing. We want the text to be normal size text, and we want it to be right aligned. So you can do all that kind of stuff. Now, here becomes the next question always that people ask is, well, okay, great. What if I want 6 different links? How do I do that? Well, it's pretty simple. What we're going to do here is let's left align this element. And let's do this now. Let's go back here. Let's make this 3 links. And what we're going to do is come in and we're going to copy this. We're going to clone it. And we're going to pull this over into this other column. And it went inside. Oh, that's right, because we have this column set. So, all right, let's do this instead. Let us add a new 2-column row. So make more sense. Let's pull this one down there. Let's pull this one down here. And now with this one, we want to send this one to the right. And so now we have basically a, let's move it up to the top of the page. So now we have ourselves a header with our navigation at the top. And one of the things that I just did recently was I wanted it like this, but I wanted to have like a bar between each one of them. So we'll come in, and where it says test here, instead of test, I'm just going to put in the pipe, which is basically for me, it's above my return key, and it probably will be for you as well. And so now let's do this one here. We need to open this up. So where I have demo now, we need to take that out and put in that pipe, and then we will put in, need to keep that open, where it says order form, we will put that in, wrong one, and then what is the next one here? So then let's say we want to go to 4 on this one here, and so now we have our header across our top with some dividers in between, and it's a lot easier to do it that way than try to figure out how to use some CSS and put a border on the left or right side of any of these elements. That's just a really quick, easy way to do it. So I'll dump this back down below. So now the next element up for bid is, let's see here, our FAQ element. And there's virtually nothing to do here. Again, everything is just purely text elements, can be worked with just like text elements. And this question mark here in the corner, you can't change that. That's there. There's nothing to change on it. You can change your font. You can change the question size, the text size. You can change your colors. And under advanced, there's absolutely nothing to do. So it's pretty simple element, but you can stack up a whole bunch of these in a row, put in your FAQ questions, and then you could even set up a button to hide and show these things. And of course, you can use these inside of an accordion as well, but that's for a whole other lesson where we'd have to start talking about CSS and JavaScript in order to do that. So let's go see what is next here. We have our divider element. And so let's open up that divider. And we can say 100% width. We can say 50% width. We can move it from the left to the center. Let's give it a height of 5 pixels. You can go as high as 60 pixels in height. You can have it be dashed, solid, dotted. That doesn't look very good. Let's make it 5 pixels. And of course, you can change the color of it. And then we can go into advanced, and you can say, okay, let's put some padding at the top and the bottom, and I'm going to max this out at 50 pixels and 50 pixels. And then let's say we want a dark full border around it. And I do this sometimes where I will now come in and I will change this color to white. Doesn't matter if it stays as solid or dotted or whatnot. And then you can say like 10 or 15 pixels. And is there even a way to round the corner? Shadow? No, I guess not. But I've done this in cases in the past where I just kind of wanted a line, but I didn't want it to be really the standard divider, and I've used it like this. Now, another thing I've seen people do is come in and say, okay, I want to take up a bunch of space on this page, but I don't want to have to use CSS. So let's say we got an element up here and we have an element down here. What they'll do is come in, and as you saw, we set this to 50 pixels on the top and 50 pixels on the bottom. Again, that's the padding on the top and bottom of the element. And then we can come into settings and we can say we want this thing to be 60 pixels tall, but we need to take off that shadow and say no shadow. And then we can also come in and even increase the amount of margin. And so what that does is it'll give you a whole bunch of empty space in here, and it makes it a lot easier. Well, it doesn't make it easier. For me, it's a lot easier for me to come in and use some sort of CSS or something to position things on the page. But if you don't know that, this is a way just to put a big blank area right here in order to line things up properly. So for right now, let's just take these two elements back out instead of trying to fix them. Here we go. Let's do that. Okay, so now the next element is we have the divider. So now we have a progress bar. So we can click on the progress bar. Now this progress bar is not going to move. It's going to be static. So if you go from page to page to page, or if you have sections open and closing with button clicks or whatnot, you can change the amount of progress you go along. And of course here you can change what it says there. You can change your font family, and of course your background color can be any color you would like it to be. And we also have themes. So we got our simple theme, which is where it's at now. You can do a bold bottom border, so it's got a bit of an underline there. You have a light gradient, so it kind of has a little bit around the entirety of the outside, a little bit of a border. And then we have stripes, and then we have animated stripes. And for the most part, I pretty much use the animated stripes, I think. So then we have advanced, and so how far across do you want it to go? You can have it anywhere from, anywhere from 0 up to 100%. So let's just leave it at 50. You have small, medium, and large in size. You can have a text shadow, so we'll make it a dark text shadow. Doesn't seem to be making much of a difference. We can have bold, italic, bold and italic. We can align it center, left, or right. We have an offset, which is this part here. We can make that a transparent white, black, transparent black, or just white. Oops, where'd we go here? But let's try, let me see here. White, transparent white. It's not really making much difference, is it? So let's leave it at white. Okay, so shadow, soft, medium, or hard shadow around the outside. We can put corners on there, 5, 10, or 20. And we can have a border or no border. I basically find I don't like the border because the border takes whatever color we set here and puts it around there, even though that doesn't really terribly look bad. And then maybe even if we made the color on here black, no, wait, that's the wrong color. We need that red. Where do I change the text color? Where did I change the text color? Maybe you don't change the text color. Okay, doesn't appear to be a setting for the text color to change that at all. So I guess you're stuck with white on that. And so then in that case, I probably would not put in the border, but who knows? Maybe it did look better with the border. So either way, I'll quit goofing around here. And that's pretty much it for the progress bar. So now we will move down. After the progress bar, we have an image list. And all the images are going to be the same, and we can affect the text just like we would any other text. And so now here we can put in this icon element. The problem is you need an image icon or icon image of 32 pixels. It doesn't size it down at all. So what I did before is I came in here and I did a search, and I came to Icon Finder, and I grabbed an image, and here's the image. And if I put that image in, you can see it's just like way too big, and there's no way to size it down inside of here. So you got to make sure you actually go out and find or create an image that is 32 pixels. So let me take that image out, in fact, and let's do this. Let's kill that element and start over again. So we got our image list. Let's open that up. So you can have your bullet spacing, how far apart are they vertically, and then we can have a left margin, how far in is it going to come from the left edge. Change your font size, and your mobile font size, and the color, your text color, and your bold text color. So you can have those be different just like you can in any text element. And then under advanced, we can say we want to show or no show on the icon. So if you can't find a small icon, obviously the easiest thing to do is just turn that icon back off. And then we can put in a bottom border, and we can put in dark solid. You can put in the others, but I find that you can't even see them on the page. They are so incredibly light. So let's just leave it as dark solid. So that is it for the image list. We have one more to go, and that is our pricing table. And it's a nice little pricing table if you need the use of something like this. And again, you can click in the text, and you can treat all of this like any text element you would want. And then we can click on the gear, come in here under settings, top text color. Let's make that yellow, and the background of the text, let's make this a blue color. So you can change those, but it's just the stuff in the upper part here. And then we got a background color style flat or gradient. I found that this doesn't change anything. And the text shadow, we can go with a strong text shadow, so that does give us a nice text shadow around there. We can do a border, let's say, of 3 pixels all the way around. But what I found is then if you put in a corners on this, you can see you got a little bit of white there in the corners because it's not working quite right to do that. So we could take the border out, or we could take the corner radius out and leave the border back in there. Well, let's see, if we go to 5, you're still going to see a little bit of white there. If you don't mind that, that's just fine. And then we're going to say what kind of shadow do we want around the outside. We can do a dark shadow around the outside. So that is it. We have one set of elements left for the last video, the miscellaneous elements, and I will see you in that video. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, just let me know.